Hello, everybody. How are you? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning for everyone. Um, Today, me and Nicholas here to share everybody about the um, how to conquer your imposter syndrome. And hi, Nicholas. How are you?
I'm good, Annie. It's a great topic for sure because I think a lot of people suffer from this, myself included at times. So we've got some great
Me
information we
too.
can pass on. Yeah.
Okay, if you guys join us live, put live. If you guys just join us, replay, put replay. Okay, look at this. What is the imposter syndrome mean to you?
What is in? Well, it's interesting because it's one of the things that I covered in my uni days as well because it's one of those things where people think they're they're defrauding or they're impersonating someone, right? And it's really basically it's a psychological pattern where an individual doubts their own skills and talents and their accomplishments, right? And they have this internalized idea that for some reason they're going to be exposed as a fraud, despite the fact that they have a lot of evidence and a lot of experience to clarify that what they do is valid, right? So it's almost like uh, perfectionists, right? A lot of perfectionists. So if you're a perfectionist out there, you might actually suffer from this at time to time, where you do a lot of work, you put a lot of effort into something, and yet at the end of the day, you still feel like you're an imposter, right? Like you're not good enough. And the reality is that you more than likely are, right? Which is different, by the way, from the adage that you may have heard of, the fake it till you make it syndrome, which is sort of similar as well, because the fake it till you make it, what you need to do is convince yourself, right? You need to fake yourself out that you are good enough at doing what you're doing. It's not about faking what you're not good at to other people. That's, the guru syndrome almost, where people are saying they're good at something when they're not.
Mhm.
So we're not talking about that. We're talking about those of you who are really good at something and yet you have this internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud, that you're not good enough. And the reality probably is that you are.
Mhm. For me, I have experience about that, but you know what? Um, this the thing is depends on you need to I think it's to connect to the self respect too. How much value you can give to people, then how you change the life of the people around you, and what you have to understand what is your purpose in here. You give out the message to the people. Okay, think about that too, because if you think yourself is not enough and just care people how think about yourself, then you will be limited yourself to keep the purpose to give the message. Let people understand your message. I have a quote. I usually help me to overcome a little bit the this syndrome. Is best teacher still learning. Best healer still healing. So that helped me a lot. And then you just keep, you know, um, don't limit it yourself, and think about. Sometimes I will think about, like, who am I? Who will listen to me? But when you because when when you talking, and then you think, there's nobody listen to me. But at the time when you hear the feedback from the people to hear you, and then they get the message from me and value, they're happy that, oh, so I feel okay. So I keep continues to do that, and and think about really very important to think about the purpose. Why you here and talking to the people, the message delivery to them is have don't worry about the message can be for someone, then can be for the other people. They cannot use it. That's what I think. Agree?
Well, it's interesting you say that, Annie, because a lot of people, and they may not know this, but there's a lot of highly professional people, right, in the arts and media, and even in governments that actually suffer from this issue, right? And I'm going to drop some names of people you may or may not know that have made the statements that they feel like at times they're not worthy, right? That they suffer from imposter syndrome. One of the
Mm-hmm.
first ones is Jacinda Ardern. Now, Jacinda Ardern is the current Prime Minister of New Zealand, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
made the statement that sometimes she feels like she's not good enough, like she's an imposter. You've also got people like the famous Tom Hanks. Now, who doesn't know Tom Hanks? Robin
Mm-hmm.
Williams, right? Both
Mm-hmm.
of these people have said that they've had an issue at times where they feel like they're not good enough. Their craft is not good enough. They're not putting enough out there, and they feel like they're an imposter.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Obama, and we all should know who Michelle Obama was, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's another lady, an
Yeah. Yeah.
exceptionally powerful lady that said she suffered from imposter syndrome, and even Emma Watson, right? Emma Watson from the Harry Potter series. So you're
Mm-hmm.
not alone. This is the main thing, right? That we want everybody to realize. If you feel like you're giving and giving, but you feel like it's not enough, you feel like you're an imposter, that you haven't done enough, then there's a couple of things that you need to do to look at yourself and just do a check to see whether you really are an imposter or whether
Mm-hmm.
you're undervaluing yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. And usually, how to recognize, identify yourself is have the imposter syndrome is always you have, let's say you look at the mirror, you have fear, and then saying, I don't know enough. And even people give you the compliment, you still think, I'm not enough. You don't feel fired up. That is the problem. That is the kind of the syndrome character to
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
But most of the people, I agree. Most of the people, if they have the the perfectionist, that would be problem, right? That would be usually the problem. And also always happen with the leaders, mentors, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, look, there's quite a few different ways to look at this, right? And it happens in a lot of areas of our lives, right? Some people don't realize, they think, oh, it's only work related, but actually it's a lot more than that, right? People can find they have an imposter syndrome in an academic setting or some sort of new environment, or they're in the workplace, in social interactions, and in relationships with others, whether they're platonic or romantic, it doesn't matter. There's this sense of I'm not good enough, and we've all felt that at some time, right? So it's also classed as something like low self-esteem, or maybe it may lead to a touch of depression or anxiety, or self-efficacy. And there's issues here, and they can be overcome. That's the thing, right? Having these worrying and ongoing emotions about not being good enough is actually dangerous to your own mental health. So you need to keep a check on these things, right? And just keep working through them. And look, there's plenty of tools out there to help you diagnose yourself and find out where you sit on this sort of ladder. And what I'm going to do before we end today is I'm going to give you a tool. There was a research paper put out in 2003 by a lady called Queen Hyong from one of the universities in Vermont. And it has a little scale that you can go through, and you can just tick and flick through it. And it can give you an idea of where your feelings of fraud or imposter syndrome are coming from. And once you understand where they're coming from, you can deal with them better, right? So we're going to give you some tools before we leave today to help you deal with those as well.
Yeah. Who won that tools? Put down tools in the comment. And then also who engaged the most today. And I also have a special gift for them to help them to overcome this problem.
Excellent. Excellent. Look, and we know, like being in Groove Asia and working through all of the stuff we do here, right? At times you learn a lot, and then you go to pass it on to someone, and you feel like, oh, I didn't get it all, or I missed part of the message, and you feel bad about it, right? You feel like you're trying to promote something or recognize something, and you're feeling like a bit of an imposter. Don't worry about it, because one of the things that you'll find from the research of Queen of Hong is that she talks about the fact that having a mentor, especially in a program that you're new in, is going to help you feel supported, and it's going to allow you to have a much more smoother and less overwhelming transition into the program and some success, which is why we say to you constantly, plug into the system, right? Show up to the lives, get to know the mentors and the leaders, reach out to them, right? Don't feel like you're the only one that's struggling at times, because you're not. Hey, we all do. I still do to this day have times where I think to myself, damn, am I doing enough? Do I have the right information? And 99.9% of the time we do. We're human. We do make mistakes, okay? And that's okay too. It's okay to make a mistake. But criticizing yourself constantly and trying to be a perfectionist about things is just not the way to go, right? Reach out, find a mentor, get a small group of people you can work together within the community where you're like-minded, and drive each other forward, create some positivity, and get moving, and that's going to make things a lot better for you, and you will be a success, right? Don't worry about the imposter side of you. Let's crush it
Yeah.
down, and just
Um,
keep focused.
imperfection action is okay, and also need to be like the ultimate. You need to be not the only one, um the person to you are the only one to control yourself. It's not, don't have to worry about what people think, and when you release the world and everything is okay, they you are the only one to control and what kind of message you want to give, right? Let's see who is the engaging here. If you I only see Facebook user, if you please mind to go to the link in restream and then give authorization. Can here is there any? Yes. I don't know who is that, and say keep practicing. Right, hold on.
Hey,
Let me see here.
keep
Then keep
practicing to conquer
practicing
your
to
fear.
conquer your fear. And I see Fiona here. Um, and then Fiona and George won the duos. Karen here. Hi, Karen. Yeah. So,
A
yeah.
lot of Facebook users today.
Yes, I love
I am
Facebook.
in.
Yeah.
So just remember to go to, is it restream forward slash, I can't remember what the link was, Annie. But anyway, you can authorize yourself on Restream for your Facebook account. That way, we'll be able to see who you are, and then we'll be able to acknowledge you more in the chat. And I noticed that Karen just said having a small group is better than rewatching videos over and over again. It's less time consuming. It is, but what you could do, right? What you
Hmm.
can do, even as a group, is organize a time to get together and watch a video and take notes together, right? Because I guarantee you, someone will pick up something that the other one doesn't, right?
Hmm.
And that may be the one point that you're normally missing that's making you feel like an imposter, right? So get together in groups, in small groups. It helps. And make sure you get a mentor. Get a mentor, right? I've got one. I know Annie's got one. And, everyone in the Groove Asia community has one. Simon Leung will tell you he has a mentor, right? Our COO will tell you he has a mentor, right? They all have mentors, and there's a reason for it. It's so that you've got a sounding board, right? Someone that can look at you from the outside and say to you literally what you're doing good and what you're not doing so well. And they're not criticizing what you're not doing well. The
Yeah.
idea here is that they point out how you can become better, right? So
Right.
that you have the qualities you can present, the qualities you want to present to others, so that they're
That's
clear.
right. You need to stop to comparing and also stop fighting your feeling. This is a very important.
Mm.
Um, and also talk to yourself will be help, right? I'm good. I'm okay. I'm the best.
Yeah, they say talking to yourself in a mirror is fine, right? Like stand in front of a mirror and you talk to yourself, and you probably heard this before, right? You sort of pump yourself up a bit and remind yourself how good you are. It's when the mirror starts talking back to you, you might have a bit of a problem, right? So if that happens, then there's another issue,
Yeah,
right?
if you can
So
conquer this problem, then you will go to the next level. And
yeah,
is
absolutely.
yeah, is really will hold back, and then you will be not hold back yourself, and then you can pursuing your goal, everything, right? So yeah,
Yeah, and Karen
this is
says
it.
positive affirmations, which is it's important, right? You need to remind yourself of your achievements. In fact, what you should do, okay? And I don't care how long ago it was. I don't care if it was a certificate when you were in high school, right? Write down a list of everything you've achieved in your life. Every positive thing that you've achieved. It could be that you managed to put the biggest smile on your niece's face because you gave her a present that she didn't expect to get. It can be the small wins, right? Like just keep adding them up and you'll start to realize how much value you actually have as an individual. And that's what you need to
Yeah, this is
portray.
yeah, this is the part of the gratitude, right? So
Yeah.
when you sit down the gratitude, that's why it's good you write journal every day, and then write
Yep.
down what you gratitude, and then that you at the time when you do journal, I don't know anybody try it, and you will we will be give the you will know what you accomplish, right? And then also give compliment yourself. This is very important to how to get away that kind of syndrome. I call monster syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, the good thing about journaling, and it can be, on paper or it could be on a computer somewhere, right? Here's the other advantage of journaling, is that not only will you get to understand yourself better, and you can look back at your achievements over the time and build that rapport with yourself, but it'll make you a better writer. And honestly, being able to tell your story about who you are to yourself very clearly is going to help you tell others more about whom you are as well. So, writing down things, it will teach you to learn to write, get your story across, and it will help inevitably in your future. So Annie's right. Start to journal. Um, it's a hard thing to do. I know, guilty at times of
Well, I
not
have
doing
the trick.
enough.
Usually, I will teach people how to do that. I will. I think I mentioned. I don't remember which event I mentioned it. Uh, I like to put poem form faster, right? And
Yeah.
then put three things you achieve that day. Um, then three things. I usually do it on the in the morning. So I would put three things what I achieved yesterday, and then three things what I need to improve, and three things what will give you the happiness. So that when you look at that, then it will feel, you will see what you need to do, because by including you have to put three things what is you need to improve, right?
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, I do something similar, right? Like where I go through and I'll write down a couple of things I want to do each day. But one of the things I also do at the end of each day is write down a couple of things that I'm grateful for that day. And it could be as simple as having a hot meal, believe it or
Hmm.
not, right? Because you've got to remember that everything that happens, it happens because you take action to make it happen in the first place, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if you don't get out of bed, people say, "Oh, if I don't get out of bed, nothing bad will ever happen."
yeah.
Not true, because if you stay in bed long enough, you can still have bad things happen to you, right? So you might as well get up and face it, right? Get on and face it. So Just
Yeah.
write down
It,
2 or 3 things every day.
yeah. It's like Karen just said, eh? Positive affirmation is very
Yeah,
important too. Yeah. Uh,
extremely important.
yeah. Yeah.
Another
Yeah.
Facebook user. That's right, Eddie.
Yeah. It's a
Don't know
lot of
what it
Facebook
refers
users.
to, but you're right.
It's a lot of Facebook user today. I think it's uh, also rating your ability too. You rating yourself and take the baby steps. Don't think about too much overthinking. Yeah, I think it will help too. The baby step,
Yeah,
like take
like if we
S
have a bit.
S. Yeah, sorry.
We have a bad habit at times of comparing ourselves to others as well, and we've got to stop it, right? We've really got to stop comparing yourself to others because you don't know what their circumstances are. You don't know what they've been through yesterday, last week, last month,
Mm-hmm.
last decade, right? You've got
Mm-hmm.
no idea, and their experiences help to create who they are as an individual, right? So don't try and compete with that because you can't compete with that. You are not them. You don't have their experiences. The only person you should be competing with is yourself. You should be looking at making yourself better than you were yesterday. If that is your only focus, you will become better at anything that you put your mind to. That you got to take action. That's number one. You heard me say that, and I've said it. I'll say it over and over again. You got to take action on something, right? Find a mentor, plug into whatever system it is you're working on.
Mm-hmm.
Surround yourself with positive people, right? With a small group of people that will push each other forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have a bit of a jovial. Like sometimes with some of the people in the teams I'm in, we might have a little jovial as whoever loses buys everyone dinner. It could be as simple as that. And when we
Mm-hmm.
say buy dinner, we don't
And
necessarily mean we're going out. We might get together and have a meal. So those sort of things.
And I have the other tips as well, right? Focus on the others, not focus yourself, because you
Mm.
focus what you're going to give value to your people, and not thinking about how much value I can give to them, right? So you focus the what I can serve, what I can provide the value to people, and people get the value. You think about that, will be less focused to think about yourself. That is the tip as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that can work beautifully, right? So, and I think just to clarify on that, you may or may not have heard of the term persona, right? Where you build a
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
customer persona, right?
Yeah.
You can do the same thing for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Build yourself a persona. In other words, get to know who you are. Because the
Mm-hmm.
more you understand who you are, and what your weaknesses are and what your strengths are, then you can get better, right? A lot of people nowadays, there's so much distraction in our life. We all know it, right? I mean, I don't know about you personally, but I know a lot of people will first thing in the morning, soon as they open their eyes, they reach over and they pick up this thing, right? They pick up their
Mm-hmm.
phone and they're into it. They're straight away. So they haven't had time to calm themselves for the morning and get focused, right? When you have something that's going good in your life, stop and have some gratitude about it. But when something's not going right,
Mm-hmm.
you need to stop and think about how you can make it better. Don't, and when I mean that, I don't mean distract yourself by going to social media and asking for help from somebody else straight away, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
watching TV or trying to watch a movie or read a book. All of those things can be good, but you also need to sit in the moment. You need to get an understanding of what you are feeling so that you can attach the issue, or whether it's good or bad, to the feeling itself. And then the next time that feeling comes up, you'll understand where it's coming from and it won't overwhelm you, because that's what happens to a lot of us, right? Especially with imposter syndrome, we get overwhelmed. It's an overwhelm. Like, am I good enough? Oh my God, have I done it right? And we panic, right? And as I
Mm-hmm.
said before, with a lot of people, that can lead to anxiety and depression and other psychological illness. Well, they're not illnesses per se, right? But they are issues that we can all have. They can lead to severe illness if we don't trap them. But that's what I'm saying. So focus on the feeling, right? Take some time out and acknowledge to yourself what is going on. What is that feeling I'm having? Where is it coming from? And what is it attached to? Because once you
Mhm.
do that, again, you can work on that, right?
Mhm.
What helps you to pull it down? What helps it to go away, right? These are the sort of things that you can learn when you do some imposter syndrome training, as we call it, right? And as I said, we'll send the link out later. I'll put it in the chat, Annie. I don't know if you can send it out or not, or if we've got someone in the back end that can send it out. But as I said, it will help you to get an understanding of how you react in certain situations and what you can do about it, right? Focus on you. The only person that can prevent imposter syndrome from happening in your life is you. So you have to take action on it.
That's right. It is your the ultimate goal is you are the only person to control the life. And then if you pass this stage, then you will know who you are, and that will help you to create your personal brand as well. And you will know more yourself and how you serve people. This is very important. That's why
Yeah.
we're including this series, and we hopefully help um, our people in the community to grow more, and then we will continue that more of this personal growth series provide to everybody in the future. So before we go, and I wonder who won the gift, like special gift is a mantra, using it, and also help me to manifest, um, you know, before. And if you want it, put a mantra, then I will send it to you.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, Eddie. And he's got a gift, so if you want it, and it's a tool that your mentors are using, right? So think about this: if we're using it, it must have some value, right? So I recommend if you want it, put in gift in the chat, let us know, and we'll make sure that Annie gets that out to you one way or another. I have to apologise. It's absolutely thumping down with rain here at the moment, so if there's a bit of noise in the background, I have no control over it. Let it go, right? Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Okay, so no, I think I see any message. I think that's is all message I have in here. Um,
Yeah, not too
yeah,
many more. I think
no.
everybody's listening and taking notes. That's what they're doing, Eddie. They don't have time to type to us because they're taking notes about what we're talking about, right?
Okay, so I think that's it for today. And thank you, Nicholas. And we'll see you next week. Who will be with me to talk about another series of personal growth.
Thanks,
Thank
Annie.
you.
Appreciate
Bye
it.
bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.